state title for Cullman cheer program. This team was also the AHSAA 6A region champs. These girls ended an amazing season by placing 4th in the nation at the National High School Cheerleading Championship in Orlando. Your team: Emily Little, Megan Flint, Kennedy Witcher, Elizabeth Bond, Emily Claire Brown, Sophie Harrison, Ellie Jones, Carly McGee, Sydney Ratliff, Ashton Story, Lauren Summerall, Bailey Battles, Caitlin Kress, Avery Wallace, Chloe Eccles, and Kristlyn Scroggins. The team was coached by Erica Ball, Josh Stansel, and Lacey Stansel. Give it up for our cheerleading team. Next, we would like to recognize our 2019 Cullman High School State Champion Forestry Judging Team. The team placed first in the Cullman County FFA Forestry Judging Contest, 3rd place in the North District FFA Forestry Judging Contest, and then went on to win the state championship this past June. Students will represent Cullman High School and the state of Alabama at the National FFA Forestry Judging Career Development Event in Indianapolis, Indiana. Your team members: Garrett Lee, Cameron Starnes, Jack West, and Drew Conway. The state championship team, coached and sponsored by CHS Ag teacher Mr. David Benefield. Give it up for your FFA Forestry Judging team. This summer, CHS senior Grant Holland competed at the International Thespian Festival in Nebraska. He received a superior rating for his solo musical theater piece. He is the first and only student to receive this honor at the International Thespian Competition. Congratulations to Grant and CHS musical theater sponsor, Mr. Wayne Cook and Mrs. Sarah Jane Skinner. Next, your Bearcat baseball team. The baseball team laid claim to their 5th state championship last year. Despite not having a home field due to the construction of the new facility, the Cats were able to rack up a 30-win season by winning 21 of their last 25 games of the year, finishing with a record of 30-13. Coach Patterson and the Bearcats would like to thank several people for making last season possible. First, the Cullman City Parks and Recreation for allowing the use of their fields at Heritage Park. West Point High School and Coach Drew Bryson for allowing us to practice and host games on their field. Hartselle High School, Coach William Booth, and the Hartselle Parks and Recreation for their hospitality and willingness to allow us to host games on their fields. And finally, thank you to all of our incredible sponsors for our community that support us in so many ways and make last year and every season possible. We couldn't do it without your help. Our state championship coaches: Lance Cleveland, Mason Goodwin, Bill Griffin, Aaron Avery, Daniel Moore, Ty Campbell, Jonathan Romine, Shannon Fondren, and Brent Patterson. Your managers: Blaine Scott, Carson Riley, and Gavin Burtis. Band's manager Gavin Burtis is unable to attend due to a recent accident in which he suffered severe burns to much of his body. Please join Cullman High School and the Bearcat baseball program in praying for Gavin and his family for a full and speedy recovery for Gavin. Your team members of the state championship baseball team: Jack Stanford, Hayden Stansel, Jeff Bartle, Brennan Norton, Cooper Bowen, Easton Meade, Nicholas Braswell, Brady Patterson, A.J. Miller, Ben Hollis, Eli Kilpatrick, Dylan Wallace, Peyton Goldberg, Braxton Jones, Cole Fuller, Cooper Beck, Seth Gable, Carter Guest, Nicholas Fondren, Garrett Evans, Sam Baker, Blake Lambert, and Kurt Wilson. Accepting Kurt's ring tonight is his mother, Ashley Wilson. Kurt was taken from us way too early, but his influence and impact on his friends and his team cannot be overstated and will never be forgotten. Congratulations to the 2019 6A state champions, your Cullman High School baseball team, Thespian, Forestry, and your cheer team. Congratulations, Cullman High School.
And good evening, everybody, live from Oliver Woodard Stadium here in Cullman, Alabama. We've got 6A football for you tonight, and Brady, what a matchup it is. The biggest rivalry here in North Alabama, in my opinion, Cullman versus Hartselle. And Brady, throw all the statistics out the window, throw all the records, because it is 0-0 starting right now between these two teams.
You're right. It doesn't matter, honestly, who the better team is. A lot of times the rivalry just plays into it. And it's going to be a hard-fought game, and you're always going to get both teams' best football.
Let's talk about last week. Muscle Shoals defeated Cullman 45-0 last Thursday night. The Bearcats, after that loss, fall to 3-5, 2-2 in the region, as the second-ranked Trojans move to 8-0, 4-0 in the region, and they will be crowned region champs after, well, they're going to look to be crowned region champs as they've got Athens tonight to decide it. And Brady, you know, Cullman, they're in the playoffs. It's been confirmed. You know, now they're really just playing for seeding. If they win this game, they will be the 3 seed. If they lose, they will more than likely fall to the 4th. And Brady, how big is it getting some momentum and, you know, getting a higher seed before we head into the postseason?
Well, one thing is, after this game, whoever wins this is going to pick up a lot of momentum just because it's the rivalry game. But, you know, you always want to be the 3 seed. I mean, it means you have to play the 2 seed of, you know, the region you match up with, Region 8. And, you know, that's just big, you know, because 1 seeds, obviously, I mean, if they're winning their region, then they're obviously doing pretty well, and you would rather play a weaker team when you get to the playoffs.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about, well, before we get to that, here come your Cullman Bearcats. And Brady, for the first time this year, they are sporting the gold pants, and they sported it a lot last year. It's a good look, I think.
I think it looks really good, especially with the new black uniforms this year. They really, really blend well. I think it's a great combination.
And the Hartselle Tigers getting ready on the opposite side of the field. They're going to come out in all white with the red helmets. And Brady, Hartselle, they've kind of been struggling this year. Hartselle's 3-4, 2-2 in region. But they've got a lot of momentum against the Cats in this rivalry game, as Cullman's last victory comes in 2013 when they beat the Tigers 14-6. Almost a 6-year drought, Brady, since Cullman has been able to defeat the Hartselle Tigers.
If Hartselle wins tonight, Nick, they're looking to tie the longest win streak in this rivalry. And they've played, 90-something times, and this could be huge for them. They've been all over the Cats for they beat them a lot before they won in before the Cats won in 2013. So honestly, for the past decade, Hartselle's kind of beat up on the Bearcats, and that's something as a Bearcat fan that you don't want to see, especially as your rivalry, because you never want a rivalry to die after it's after a team become dominant.
And Coach Glasscock has tried to get the troops fired up. He even told his guys flat out that, hey, this isn't even a rivalry anymore because Hartselle's won so much in the last few years. We'll see if that gets them fired up and ready tonight. As Hartselle will kick it off, it's a low liner that Sullins will field at about the 2-yard line. He's going to look for a couple of blocks, and he'll be tripped up just shy of the 25. So here comes the Bearcat offense. That was Lang for Hartselle kicking that ball off.
And Nick,
Addison Parker in on the stop for the Tigers.
Looking at the roster for Cullman tonight on offense, Jalen Huey is still not going to be starting tonight, and I think that's huge. Still, Noah Key is going to be playing. Excuse me, he is in the game. He's actually not on the starting lineup. He was a game-time decision, and they didn't announce him.
1st and 10, they'll start with a pitch to Sullins and a good run there to get about 5. And Brady, we talked to, a lot of the Cullman coaches. Like I said, this Cullman offense has struggled mightily all season, and they've really said against this Hartselle team, if they can establish the run game, the sky is the limit for this team in scoring in this game.
They have an explosive offense, but sometimes they really struggle, getting a spark. And I think, tonight, defense is not Hartselle's strongest suit. They sometimes struggle. They've given up a lot of points this year, and it could be big for the Cats.
And I believe Hartselle got a little anxious there. And jumped off sides. Yep, that's the call. So Cullman gets an easy first down here. Already moving the chains after one play.
And Nick, my previous point that I was going to make was without Jalen Huey, how's the offense going to fare? And there he is with his first carry, and that's what I was telling you. I think he's the key for this game. I think if he's in the game, I think the Cats have got to be the favorite.
Good 6-yard run there up the middle for Huey. Huey, like we said, he was held out of last week's game just kind of as a, precautionary measure. I mean, from what I heard, he could have played or would have been available for action, but really I didn't see, the point in risking furthering that injury with, playing a great team like Shoals, where Cullman probably wasn't going to come out on the winning side of that one.
And I think it's a smart play by the coaches because he's a guy, I mean, like we've talked about it, 4 or 5 times this year, that Cullman, at this point, after having so many injuries, they have a must not get hurt list. Doolin, Sullins, Huey on the offensive side. And, Huey, you couldn't risk him getting even more hurt in a game that, you're definitely outmatched.
And another short run there to pick up a first down. Cullman moving the ball with a little bit of momentum here early in this one. 1st and 10 to go from the 45.
Nick, at the top of your screen is Braden Scroggins. He is in for Isaiah Jones, who had the flu this week, so that's going to be a big matchup. Isaiah's got a lot of height and speed. Braden's quick and shifty, but he doesn't have the height that Isaiah does. Takes away the threat of a jump ball.
And a nice little stiff arm there by Sullins to get wide, make a couple yards out of that. And Brady, Hartselle, it's kind of been a frustrating year for them. They had that great year last year, undefeated regular season, made it to, I believe, the 2nd or 3rd round of the playoffs, but then their coach retired, Godsey, along with losing a ton of players in that senior class, and they're kind of in a rebuilding stage.
And that's something that can really hurt any football team, is just losing so many players. And Hartselle's definitely doing the best they can, but a lot of teams you see them lose a lot of players, but they're still very good. But the number of players that they lost is basically unheard of.
So it'll be 3rd down and 2 as Cullman crosses midfield. Go out of the same set. Scroggins is the lone receiver at the bottom of your screen. And looks like Dillon gets a check off from the sideline. He'll motion out Jake, and the give is up the middle to Huey, and Huey plunges forward, and I believe it's going to be very, very close. It's going to be 4th down and inches if he didn't get it, but they will signal 1st down. Wasn't sure, and the Hartselle coaches are very upset. They at least wanted a measurement there.
It was very, very close. I thought he got it watching on the monitor, and it looked really good there.
So Cullman will hurry up to the line here on 1st and 10. Ball on Hartselle's 44-yard line. Dooland in the shotgun. He'll fake the give quarterback keeper off the right-hand side, and a good 1st down run there of about 6 yards.
Hartselle's coming off of a shutout last week against Decatur, excuse me. And, that, like we said, Cullman shut out Columbia, and that played to be pretty big for the next few games after having that shutout. They carried that momentum.
Got on a roll, Cullman did, but then they kind of lost it after losing 3 straight to Hueytown, Athens, and then Shoals last week. They're looking to rebound. 2nd down and 5. As Doolan will take it to give us up the middle to Huey, and Huey plunges forward for another 1st down. And Brady, just slow and methodical Cullman is being right now on this drive. Just short runs, nothing special, 5 and 6 yards a pop. I mean, that's, their bread and butter is just to control the clock, march the ball up the field, and that's so deflating for a defense when they're just pounding that rock, and, I mean, they're just slowly moving that ball for positive gains.
Especially for Hartselle, who defense has definitely been their struggle, except for last week, and Cullman's doing a great job. And then if you're Hartselle, you're just wondering, well, when's Huey or someone's just really going to break one, for 30 or 40 yards?
Doolan will run the option, and he'll keep it himself, and is brought down just past, or excuse me, on the 30, but there is a flag in the secondary. Braden Scroggins, we know he's a feisty one. He got tangled up with number 4, Turney, the DB, the sophomore DB for the Tigers. And personal foul is called on Hartselle, so that'll give Cullman a free 15. So good job by Scroggins there. He wasn't the guilty member in that. You know, Brady, we've seen Scroggins on some kickoffs this year get into it with some guys. You know, he's a feisty guy, and he's gotten a penalty out of it, but luckily there he was able to keep his cool.
And Nick, I actually saw that one. I mean, they were kind of pushing and shoving, but when Braden finally walked away, I mean, the defender tried to trip him. He tried to kick his feet out from underneath him, and that's just something that you really can't do.
1st and 10 on the 15. Cullman moving inside that red zone. Doolin will take it, pitch play off the right-hand side to Huey, and Huey will spin off of a guy and be brought down for a short gain.
Number 6, Jalen Huey on the carry.
7:43 left here in the first quarter. Second down and 8. Doolin takes the snap, reverse to Jake, and Hartselle is all over that. A good tackle there by number 40, Taylor, the senior linebacker, coming in at 5'10", 187 pounds. And Brady Cullman, they're in field goal range, but you know that they would really like to settle for more than 3 to start off this game and make a statement.
I think it's got to be a momentum thing. Cullman on offense really does well with momentum.
3rd down and 9. Doolin's rolling left, looking for somebody to throw to, and he'll just chunk this one away.
That was a great save by Max. He was very close to being down.
That would have not been a good sack there. That would have taken Cullman, I believe, almost out of field goal range. It would have really been pushing it for the young kicker Adams. So here comes Brody Adams, the junior, in his first season as the starting kicker. Adams has had a pretty good year, I would say, Brady.
You know, he struggled for the first few games, but I think that was just nervous. He's never played before. It took him a little bit, you know, to understand that he's got a bunch of guys behind him that really trust him. And once he got some trust and confidence from his coaches and players.
Be a 31-yarder, and Adams is good, just sneaks in the left side. So a good start for the Bearcats as they get on the board to make it 3-0 Cullman with 6:24 remaining here in the first quarter. And Brady, Cullman ate up a lot of clock with that drive.
And, you know, they didn't get a touchdown, but they did get some points. And, you know, like you said, they ate a bunch of clock. I think they'll eat a bunch of clock and take 3 points any drive this game.
So here comes Hartselle's return team. That will be followed by their offense. And Brady, Hartselle really got it going when they played Columbia 2 weeks ago. 76-0 was the final score in that game. Their offense must have been clicking.
And, you know, Columbia's a team that's struggled, obviously, all year. But Hartselle used that, and they didn't ever stop scoring because they knew that if they just kept on scoring, that they would just get a ton of momentum.
You know, and a lot of people, Brady, may say, why do you put up that many points on Columbia? But, you know, I kind of see the reasoning behind it. You want to get your offense, you know, hitting on all cylinders. You want to get them in a groove, and I believe that's just what Hartselle was trying to do that
That's
night.
what they did, and they definitely got on a groove, especially, you know, against.
And Hartselle with a good return out to the 36-yard line.
Tackle on the kick made by number 8, Jaden Kay.
Jaden Kay might have prevented a touchdown there, Brady. They almost got wide enough on that one to take it to the house.
That was a really good open field tackle for Jaden Kay. I mean, there's been a few plays this year where, you know, he's had some trouble wrapping some guys up, but it's good to see that he really broke down right there and made a good tackle.
First down play goes for a couple of yards.
Number
Barksdale gets his first tackle of the night. Shotgun set for the Tigers, 2nd down and 9 from the 39. And they'll give it on the outside, and a great tackle out there by number 52, Josh Miranda, bringing him down for a 4-yard loss. And Brady, Josh Miranda isn't a guy we give enough credit. He fights in those trenches game after game, and it can be tough sledding when he's facing some big guys, but there, his hustle paid off.
He's probably one of the strongest guys on the offense, or the defense, excuse me, and definitely probably the strongest guy on the defensive line. And he really muscles through the offensive line, and he's always fighting for the quarterback, and he always is giving extra effort plays, and it paid off.
He'll take the snap. He's looking to throw. He's going to step up in the pocket and run with it. Ooh, and a good open field tackle by number 44, Drew Ball, who is back with that cast on his right arm. You can't miss him, and he is fired up, and so is that whole defense, as it is now 4th down and long.
And Nick, this is something that I haven't seen in a few weeks. Is I haven't seen our defensive players fist bump towards the sideline after making that's a good play. It's nothing special, but it's an open field tackle and a 3 and out on Hartselle's first drive, and that's a huge play, and that's something we haven't seen from Cullman's offense in a while.
Hartselle gets it away, and the kick actually hits number 24, Sam Brand. He picks it up. Luckily, there weren't any Tigers down there to make the recovery.
Number 24, Sam Brand on the punt recovery.
So Cullman gets the ball back quickly. Their defense doing what they have done all season, playing really, really well.
I think Cullman, this first quarter, 4 minutes, 22 seconds left. I'm going to say before halftime, I think they can really win this game before halftime.
If Cullman can get on a roll on the offensive side of the ball, the sky, like I said, is the limit for this team. But a penalty takes the Bearcats. I believe it was a hold on that punt, maybe. That takes them back to the 15-yard line, 1st down and 10 Bearcats. As Doolin will motion out Sullins, and he'll pitch it to Sullins off the left-hand side. And watch out, Sullins has got a little bit of green grass. He's out to the 30, and he's finally brought down by number 4, Devron Turney.
Number 23, Jake Sullins with the carry for Cullman.
And Brady, that's one thing with Cullman that can kill you. When they are running the ball in between the tackles for big chunks of yardage, it makes it so hard to watch them on the outside because you have to honor that.
And that's something they didn't have last week was Huey, who they're going to run up the middle a lot. And then we had Sullins, who had to do both. But when you run Huey up the middle so much, then you fake it to him and pitch it to Sullins to get on around the outside, there's really nothing you can do because Sullins is just too quick.
3:50 left here in the first quarter. Max takes the snap. The give is off the right-hand side to Huey, and Huey might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, excuse me, with the forward progress. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Go. Doolin to under center. 2nd down and 10, and a whistle is blown, and Cullman's going to take a timeout, as I believe Coach Glasscock, they didn't like something they saw. So, Brady, while we have this break here, let's talk about last week, Hartselle playing Decatur. To pretty much, that actually helped out Cullman. That win over Decatur secured a spot for the Bearcats in the 6A playoffs. They had a big win. They beat them by a lot. It was defense for 181 yards in the first half, Brady. Most guys would be happy just to have that in a whole game.
You're exactly right. And one thing that we surprisingly don't have is the final score to that game. but we know that it was the biggest margin of victory since they beat them 51-0 back in the 1920s. And that's, you know, to go that long without beating somebody that bad, that's saying something. Then to do it this year, and that shows that you do have some pop in that offense.
And let's go back to the Cullman and Hartselle aspect. Hartselle leads this series 48-45 with 4 ties ever since the two started playing. And Cullman's looking to close that gap here tonight as Doolin will look to throw. He's rolling off the left-hand side. He's still running, and he'll fire, intended for Huey, but out of bounds.
Hartselle's doing a good job. They're not biting on those fake tosses when they're trying to set up pass plays. And, you know, it's kind of surprising because Cullman hasn't thrown the ball that much.
You know, Brady, we're like a broken record. We say we really like to see Cullman, you know, air the ball out, be aggressive, take risks. But, you know, they didn't do that the first drive, and it paid off.
You're right. I mean, and I guess that's why we're not the coaches. That's why we're up here in the booth.
Absolutely.
And they've got a good game plan going right now.
As Doolin rolls right, fires, and the pass is caught by Jake Doolin. Nice catch there at the 42. And there's a flag down in the Hartselle secondary. I believe there was some more extracurricular activity going on, and it may have been the same guy.
I think it was. Hartselle walked over to him, and I think they were kind of saying, hey, man, you got to quit doing that. That was number 22, Jackson Boyer, future teammate of Jaden Solins at Navy, walked over there and told him, you're going to have to, you know, calm down a little bit. You're costing us some penalties. And that's 2 personal fouls already.
And Brady, if you're struggling on defense like Hartselle is, you cannot bail Cullman out with a 15-yard penalty to give him a free first down.
That's exactly right, especially right there where, you know, it was second down and, you know, a little bit to go, and you can't do that when you've got to get a stop on this drive, because if Cullman puts up 7, you're 10-0 basically at the end of the first quarter, and you still have to go till halftime putting up with that. You can't afford to lose that many yards.
2:36 left in the first quarter. Doolin is under center. He'll motion out Jake, his brother, to the left-hand side, and Jake takes the pitch and maybe gets a yard. You know, Brady, we've seen Cullman go into that halfback toss and a lot tonight, running it to the left, running it to the right. They're liking something they see in that Hartselle defense.
I think they know that they have, you know, they're going to be able to push some openings tonight with their offensive line, and I think they're going to stick with that a lot, and they're just going to, you know, they might only get 2 yards, and then every once in a while, you know, they're going to bust it for 40 or 50 because Solins and Huey are just too quick.
Second down and 9, ball on the 42. Doolin gives it to Solins, and Solins will make his way up the middle and get out to about the 37-yard line. And Brady, it's pretty apparent just looking from up here, Hartselle's front 7, they're not the biggest you'll ever see. I mean, they're kind of getting manhandled a little bit by these Cullman offensive linemen, but maybe the lineman got a little too rough there with the holding penalty.
And Nick, like you were saying, I mean, you're exactly right. They're not very big up front. We said that about Cullman a lot, but I think Cullman actually might be a little bit bigger than them. And I think that's why, I mean, it's just the one time that Cullman's probably evenly matched size-wise.
You don't hear us say that much. As it'll be second down and 19 from the 48 after the penalty. Doolin is in the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. He's rolling right, looking to throw. Fires, it's caught by Solins, and Solins is driven back. And a little unlucky there. Actually lost a lot of that forward progress, and he only gets to the Hartselle 49-yard line. It'll be third down and long.
Nick, this is something that I'm interested to see, because last week we saw him on third and long, you know, trying to run the ball. I'm just wondering if we're going to see him, you know, get a little bit more aggressive on third and long. I mean, knowing that, Tanner Headley he's had some times where he struggled, but overall he's had a lot of good punts.
Had a really good one last week against Shoals inside the 5. go. 3rd down and 16. Doolin will take the snap and fake the pitch. He's going to look to throw. He's going to fire over the middle, and it is tipped. But a good play out there by Devron Turney, the Hartselle DB that's been flagged with 2 personal foul penalties. But he makes up for it right there, making a good play on that one.
And that's where you wonder where the height of Isaiah Jones would come in. Could he have gone up and, maybe gone up over Turney and made that catch? And that's where you're wondering. But Braden did a great job of staying aggressive, and he ran a great route.
So here comes Heatherly to punt this away for the Bearcats. It's a good snap, and Heatherly gets it away. It's a nice kick. That's number 2, Grant Hembry back there. And this kick will go all the way down inside the 5 and be fielded at the 1-yard line. What a great punt by Heatherly, his best of the year.
That was beautiful, and that's exactly what we were saying. Every once in a while, he'll kick one that you kind of scratch your head at. You say, well, we've seen him be so good. How can he, miss kick it like that? But that's exactly why the coaches keep him in there. He can pin you from just about anywhere if you give him enough time to kick it.
And he never gave the Hartselle return man, Grant Hembry, any chance to field that ball. That was right on the sideline. Just a perfect corner kick.
And he gave it was high, and gave the streakers enough time to get down there and grab it before it rolled into the end zone. But I think it actually rolled out of bounds before it went into the end zone.
And Cal George, the quarterback, he's looking at the sideline. He's very confused. This may be a trick play. And it is not. Hartselle has no clue what they're doing, and they'll burn a timeout. Number 12, Cal George, the quarterback. This is his first year. As we all know, Luke Godsey ended his illustrious career with the Tigers last season, taking them all the way to the 3rd round of the playoffs.
And that's something, if you're a Cullman fan, you're happy to see. He had been there for quite some time. His dad was the coach. He was super smart. He was, he was undersized, but he had a lot of heart in it, and he was an outstanding football player who really gave Cullman, a lot of headaches.
It'll be 1st down and 10 Tigers from their own 1.
And Nick, you wonder there, if they'd have taken a delay of game, it would have been about 3 inches.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the worst penalty in the world. 21 seconds remain here in the 1st quarter. And let's see if defensive coordinator Matt Hopper dials up a blitz here. Cullman can possibly get a safety and really swing the momentum in the favor of the Bearcats. Hartselle will run it off the right-hand side, and he'll get it all the way out to about the 6-yard line. Dustin Speak makes the tackle there.
Number 32, Brent Barclay on the carry.
Nick, something we haven't even touched on yet is Cole Herfer's got the start tonight.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in and out all year, and he's finally in the game, and he's starting. He's going to play the majority of the game unless something happens.
He looks like he's moving around pretty well out there. I don't see him limping or favoring that right leg any. And that run by Barclay will end the 1st quarter.
That's the end of the 1st quarter.
So we played 1 here at Oliver Woodard, and the Cats lead over the Tigers 3-0. about a yard shy of making the first down.
Second down, Hartselle.
Second down and short. George has got 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. He'll take the snap. He's going to look to throw, and it is caught out there at the 36-yard line by Hembry once again.
Now George's pass is complete for a first down for Hartselle.
And that's number 21, Jamar Kay out there. And Brady, you got to wonder why Jamar was playing so far off of Hembry out there.
You know, there's obviously probably, you know, a little bit of a reason there. I'm sure that he's super quick and they're having to give him a cushion. Good help by Cole Herford to get over there and help Jamar make the tackle. But yeah, you do wonder why he's giving him so much of a cushion.
Up the middle to Barclay for a few yards.
Brent Barclay on the carry. Tackle made by
Second down and about 8. Barksdale and Miranda in on the stop. And Brady, this game is going by very, very quickly. You know, both teams running the ball, chewing up a lot of that clock because we're already almost halfway to the second quarter.
Hartselle does spread it out a little bit more, but both of them are, you know, go pretty slow, and they don't really try and hurry you up or anything. And you know, it could zoom by, and I mean that's the Bearcats' whole plan. So you do wonder if that's going to end up helping them.
Third down.
Barclay catches the screen there and gets out to about the 44-yard line, so it'll be third down and 6 to go. Cal George in the shotgun set. He's got Barclay to his right. He'll take the snap. He's looking to throw, and he's under pressure. He'll pump fake it. He's still running, and he'll just flip this one way out of bounds as he had nowhere to go. He was under instant pressure there by Josh Miranda and company, and it'll be fourth down Tigers.
Coach Hopper brought a lot of pressure there. Even the linebackers were blitzing there, and you know, good play. Miranda was completely thrown off by George's pump fake there and just started running downfield, thought he threw it. And if he'd have kept going, it could have been a sack.
And a little bit of confusion there by the Hartselle lineman. Ineligible receiver downfield is the call. So I guess one of the linemen did get the memo in the huddle that it was a run play. Maybe just forgot. So Cullman will decline that penalty, however, to make it fourth down. Number 1, Nathaniel Wiley will punt for the Tigers.
It's another good job by the Cats. You know, they got a few first downs.
And almost blocked there by Jamar Kay, and it'll be fair caught by Sullins at about the 22. Ooh, he might have had a little bit of room to work there. Try and return that one a little bit, but he takes the fair catch at the 23.
And I think he noticed that he had good field position there and didn't want to risk it.
But a good job by the Cullman defense. They let Hartselle maybe get a little bit further than they wanted to as they had him all the way back down on the 1-yard line, but they forced the stop. So here comes Cullman. If you're just tuning in, they were able to march all the way down and kick a field goal their first drive. Beautiful kick by Brody Adams. And in their second drive, they ended up punting. And Sullins will try to get wide here. He's at the 30. He's got a little bit of room to work, and he runs into his own man at the 36-yard line. And oh, Brady, if he had run into his own lineman there, there's no telling where he could have taken that.
Still a good run, but he was just cutting across field, upfield, and he did a great job. He was just moving, and couldn't really do anything there. I think, if I'm right, that is Mason Richards, who just was trying to figure out where the play was going because Sullins was being so shifty.
Biggest run of the night for the Bearcat running back, Jaden Sullins. And Doolin will take the quarterback keeper up the middle, and he finds a little bit of running room out past the 45 to about the 46-yard line. That's enough for another Bearcat first down.
Quarterback Max Doolin with the keeper.
And Brady Hartselle is just struggling stopping this running game. I mean, Cullman is making 4 or 5 yards minimum, and now they've started to break off some bigger chunks.
And that just makes you wonder, because Huey hasn't even been in the game that much. At least this drive, we haven't even seen him, and we already have 2 big runs.
No, yeah, Brady, I know you said that Huey's going to be a big key in this game, but I think the ideal scenario would be he wouldn't have to play very much, as they don't want to get him re-injured, especially before Cullman's about to head into the playoffs.
No, I agree. I really do agree with that. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think if Cullman was to run away with it, I don't think you'd see him continue to play. And right now, when they're moving, I do think they're going to keep him out because they don't want to. He is going to be limited tonight. We do know that.
Short run there to make it 2nd down and 7 from the 49-yard line. Doolin in the shotgun. He's got Jake Doolin and Braden Scroggins at the top of your screen. And he will fake the give to them, and it's quarterback keeper, but Hartselle is all over that, as Doolin might have gotten a yard.
Max Doolin with the keeper for Cullman. 3rd down.
And here comes Huey into the game for Noah Key.
And it's 3rd and, manageable. But I think that's the situations that if it comes to that, I think that's where they're comfortable using Huey, using to get this, 3rd and 6.
7:25 left here before we hit halftime. Cullman comes out in the shotgun with Huey lined up at the tight end position at the bottom of your screen. And Doolin will take the snap. He'll roll right. He's looking to throw, and it is tipped over the middle, almost intercepted. Devron Turney, making another good play there as Scroggins is unable to come up with that ball, as Doolin tried to force that one in between 2 Hartselle DBs.
Definitely being a little bit aggressive there. That's something that you don't want to do, is give them turnovers. I mean, you'd rather punt it than give them a pick.
Absolutely. As Heatherly is on for his 2nd punt. This one had a beautiful punt his last time out, getting it all the way down to the 1. And Heatherly, the kick is blocked, and Hartselle will fall on it at the 33-yard line of Cullman. Brady, that snap was very slow and high. It just was not where it needed to be. And that might just be the momentum that Hartselle needs to get back into this one and get moving.
Right. Just floated up there, gave the defenders plenty of time. Right back there, they were basically waiting on him to kick that ball.
Drew Carty making the block for the Tigers. So here we go. Cal George and company's got great field position. 1st down and 10 from the 33. And George will take the snap. Another screen pass out of the left side. That's Grant Hembry. And a nice gain there. About 6 yards, so Hartselle only needs about 10 or 15 more yards, and they should be well within field goal range to tie this one up. But they want to go ahead and take full advantage of that blocked punt.
And Nick, one reason you really hate to see that is because if Hartselle is to score right here, Cullman goes from up 3-0, only 3-0, right to halftime. They're going to be down 6 or 7-3, and that's something that you don't want to do going into halftime, especially when you're winning the whole half.
First down and 10 after the quarterback keeper at the 21-yard line. And he'll take the snap. Another screen pass out to the left-hand side, and he'll make a few men miss. And still on his feet and going, and almost able to break that one all the way down to the end zone, but he steps out a yard shy of the 1st down marker.
Now Georgia's pass is complete. Setting up a short 2nd down.
That was number 29, Isaiah Fletcher, with the catch. So it'll be 2nd down and 1 from the 11. I wouldn't be surprised they'd give it to Barclay right here in between the tackles. They'll take the snap, looking to throw once again. George trying to extend the play with his legs. There's a penalty marker down, and the pass is caught for a touchdown. but there is a flag down back at the 17, and it will be a hold. So Cullman catches a break there.
And that's something on those long plays. You got to have that in your mind as a quarterback, knowing that the longer you wait, especially when you're under pressure.
Much harder for your linemen to keep staying on their blocks.
And as that play opens up, it's not as jumbled up mess, and the referees can really get a clear look.
And Brady, I know in the end they were able to complete the pass for a touchdown, but a peculiar play call there on 2nd down and 1, not just to run that ball, pick up the first down, and just try and pound the ball down Cullman's throat there.
And obviously they haven't ran the ball, just a ton this drive. They've thrown a lot of screen passes, and I think they're kind of waiting for Cullman to bite on that.
So 2nd down at 16 on the 26-yard line for the Tigers. Hartselle's going to have to take another timeout as they were unsure. So that's their second one in this half. So as they take a timeout, we'll step aside here at Oliver Woodard Stadium. Technical difficulties there at the break, but you didn't miss much. Hartselle had a short gain there on 3rd down and then had a false start, or excuse me, a short gain on 2nd down, then a false start to make it 3rd down and 18 from the 28. They'll run a little screen play with Barclay up the left-hand side, and Barclay almost gets back to pick up the 1st down, but he stopped just short. But back into field goal range are the Tigers. So Cullman kind of lets them off the hook there, Brady.
They do. They played good defense. They're going to force a field goal here. Cullman's really needs a block here. I think that could be some huge momentum.
Number 14, Jacob McDonald will kick, or excuse me, that is actually number 90, that's Smith, and a short kick that's fielded at the 5 by Sam Brand, and Sam Brand's going to run with it. He gets a couple of blocks out to the 36-yard line, and I'm not sure what happened there, as that's actually number 94, Brian Munoz, my apologies, as that was an absolute duck, Brady. That didn't go 10 yards.
I don't think anybody was expecting that. There was a little bit of a scuffle after the play, and we're going to see some, some personal fouls.
And Hartselle finds themselves on the wrong side of the penalty marker once again.
And Nick, I don't think Cullman was looking to return that ball at all.
Unbelievable. Sam Brand, the backup DB, almost pulled off a kick 6 there, Brady.
He did a great job. He was able to make the catch in the air, didn't freak out. I don't think he was expecting that. That's something, especially, I mean, you would expect to maybe catch it in the end zone somewhere if he maybe miskicked it. But that, like you said, it didn't go 10 yards.
So first down and 10 from the 48. They'll pitch it off the right-hand side to Sullen. Sullen gets a nice block by Jake. He's at the 40. There's a penalty flag down back at the 50, however. I didn't see the hold, but that's what Cullman's going to get hit with. So that'll take away that nice run there by Sullens off right tackle.
Even though there was a hold, I don't think it was by one of the receivers that made the two key blocks there.
That was a great block there by Jake
run.
Dillon. That backs Cullman all the way up to the 40-yard line to make it first down and 20. And that's not what this Cullman offense is built for, Brady. Picking up, large chunks of yardage. They don't like to spread it out too much.
No, they don't. They like we always say it, run between the tackles and run outside the tackles. And that's what they really do. And it's hard to, get 22 yards in 4 tries.
So first down and 22. They'll give it to Sullens, and Sullens about a 4-yard run there. Second down and 18. Ball is spotted on the 44, and we're just inside of 4 minutes left to go here in the second. Doolin will motion out his brother Jake, fake the give to Huey, and run a little option play. And Doolins will bounce it to the outside. Nice move there. And he'll get back to about 3 yards short of the first down, or excuse me, of the original line of scrimmage. So Brady, third down here. Cullman, you're kind of forced to throw the ball unless they just want to play it conservative and just run something, keep that clock moving.
3.5 minutes left. I think they've got to air it out here. And at least try and get close to the first down. And you never know, if you get close enough, you could go for it on 4th down. But I think these are some big points.
Third down and 14. For the Cats, Doolin gets a check off from the sideline. Play clock is at 2, and they'll just get it off, and they'll run it up the middle with Huey, and Huey finally gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 4th down and 10, and here comes the Cullman punt team. So I guess Coach Oscar Glasscock is content with headed into the half with a 3-0 lead.
And you never know, your defense could get an interception or a fumble, and you could get one more shot at it with 2 minutes left.
Heatherly had a nice punt all the way down to the 1 his first time out, and then last time had it blocked, but Cullman was able to hold. He'll get this one away with no problem, and it's another good kick that's fielded and caught at about the 16-yard line. Late hit, kind of, from Dustin Speak. I wouldn't really say late, Brady. The Hartselle return man kind of caught that a little awkwardly, and Dustin was trying to pull off, but still clipped him just a little bit.
He tried to step over him or jump over him, basically, and his leg just caught his head. I don't think, knowing Dustin, I don't think that was a dirty play at all.
Still a nice punt by Heatherly down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. So it'll be 1st down and 10 Tigers with 2:40 left. George in the shotgun, and he'll give it off the right-hand side, and a good move out there, and a good tackle there by Jaden Kay. As Barclay making a few guys miss, and he's an explosive back.
He really
for
is.
These Tigers.
And he's a guy you didn't hear a ton about coming into this game, but you've seen him a few times tonight, and he's making some great cuts and getting upfield.
As George flips it out near side, and it is caught. Good catch out there.
Nick Hartselle's just going to take that over and over again, and Cullman's going to give him 7, 8 yard, 9 yard sometimes cushion before the snap.
I've kind of noticed from George, he doesn't really have a huge arm, not,
really explosive and throwing the ball downfield, but he's very accurate with his throws, and he really knows the timing of his receivers running those routes.
And Nick, with that, you do wonder.
But speaking of the devil, he goes downfield here, and it is through the hands. Oh my goodness, of Jace Dubose, who was open.
Second down.
And that pass was on the money, Brady. Just Dubose unable to make the catch.
And Nick, right there is, I think, why Cullman's giving them that cushion. We've said it a few times that they're going to try and throw screens, and then you never know, they might open it up and throw in way downfield, and that was a perfect time for it, under 2 minutes, and he just dropped it.
And a timeout is taken by the Bearcats. That's their second.
Timeout on the field.
But we'll stay right here. And, Brady, let's talk about a few more of the guys injured. Like we said earlier, Matt Brock, number 18, he's out with a concussion. That's a big force in that Cullman secondary, but they seem like they're doing all right so far without him tonight. And then another player at defensive end, number 3, Kennedy Griffin. He's out with a shoulder injury of some sort. And it looks like Josh Miranda's really stepping up on that defensive line and helping out Will Stallings and company.
And another guy that we mentioned who's not hurt, will be back next week, is Isaiah Jones. But Cullman's thrown the ball more times tonight in the first half than I think we've seen him throw it in a lot of games. And we let him have, probably the top receiver.
So second down and 10 coming up for the Tigers. Minute 38, so if they want to try and put something on the board before we hit the half, they're going to have to hurry. They only got one timeout remaining. So Cal George is in the shotgun. He motions a man, and it's Hembry. And Hembry's got a little bit of room. He's got Barclay as a lead blocker, but a nice tackle out there by Barksdale.
And he may be a big guy, but he's not going to get outrun.
He showed some extreme quickness there to get the speedster, Hembry. Was able to wrestle him down before that play went for more yards.
3rd and 12 for Hartselle.
So 3rd down and 12 on the 28-yard line for the Tigers. Five on the play clock, and George will get it snapped. He's looking to throw, looking, fires, and incomplete.
Cal George's pass is incomplete. 4th down, Hartselle.
And Cullman holds on the defensive side of the ball once again, and they're going to get the ball back with a minute 22 left and one timeout. And a good punt here, and Sullins is going to return this one. He's going to make a man miss at the 36, gets a block, or may have been a hold actually, blocking the back by Jaden Kay. We'll see what the call is. Good punt there by Nathaniel Wiley, number 1. Yep, blocking the back. Called against the Bearcats, so that'll back him up. And Brady, we've seen from these officials so far here tonight, they are not scared to throw the flag. They are going to call it like they see it.
And no, but it hasn't been really excessive. But they've been right most of the time.
Just frequent.
But they are not scared. They're not just going to let it slip, because I think if they let it slip once, then you never know. It could be a key play, and then they'd have a lot of dirt on their hands.
1st down and 10 from the 25 for the Bearcats. We'll see how aggressive they are here. If they just run a few plays and go into the half with the 3-0 lead, or maybe they try and be gutsy and put something else on the board, as they'll go with a run here with Huey off the right-hand side. That'll get a couple.
Jalen Huey with the carry for Cullman. 2nd down.
And Brady, kickoff was a little after 7. It's just now 7:52. So this has been a very fast first half of football, under an hour.
I think that it's probably going to be like this to the end of the game. I think because right now it's super close and it's exactly what we expected.
They'll
And
go
I
at it.
think until the end of the fourth quarter, it's going to be just like this, just as fast as it can be.
And they'll go out of victory formation here. And Doolin's still not down. He finally takes a knee. And they'll just head into the half. And that'll be the final play we run here in the first half. So Cullman, after 2 quarters, in the big rivalry showdown between the Bearcats and the Hartselle Tigers, Cullman has a 3-0 lead after 2 quarters of play. But don't go away. We got band halftime performances by both sides. And we'll be back just shortly with analysis and second half action right here on the NFHS Network.
School marching band. Color guard sponsor is Susan Martin. Majorette sponsor is Amanda Keating. Band president is Molly Henry, and band booster president is Wendy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cullman High School Bearcat Marching Band.
And we are back. Nick Brazel alongside my co-commentator Brady Patterson. We're just coming back, ready to get started here with third quarter action. Cullman leads 3-0 over their rivals, the Hartselle Tigers. And Brady, you know, a positive first half for Cullman. They've done some very nice things on defense. And, I mean, they've done the bare minimum on offense, but they've got the lead.
You're right. I mean, the offense hasn't been terrible. And, you know, definitely has looked better than it has the past few weeks, even though they only have 3 points. They've had some struggles really moving upfield.
You know, the Cullman defense has done a nice job of, you know, getting out of sticky situations. You know, Hartselle had that block punt on Heatherly that set them up inside the 30-yard line, but Cullman's defense was able to force a missed field goal to get out of that unscathed.
And I think that was huge. And they forced a few penalties before that really kept Hartselle just moving backwards, and they couldn't ever get close enough. And I think the drive just went on for so long that something bad was bound to happen.
And like we said earlier, this game has major playoff implications as if Cullman's able to win, that would move them to the 3rd seed, and they would more than likely be playing Buckhorn or May Jemison as their first round opponent. And Cullman has not won a playoff game since joining 6A. And what a way that would be to get Coach Glasscock started off in his first year as a coach.
And, you know, it's something, you know, football's a little bit different. You don't have to go have an outstanding record in the regular season to do well in the playoffs or just to make the playoffs. Cullman theoretically could have only gone 2-8 with certain situations working out and made the playoffs. And so, you know, it's huge that Cullman's going to get into the playoffs after last year missing the playoffs. And I think Coach Glasscock, I think he deserves a win. These guys deserve a win. And, you know, if they win tonight, they're really setting themselves up.
And, Brady, we've talked about this. Cullman could very easily be 5-3. They lost their first 2 games to Jasper and Mortimer Jordan by combined 5 points. I mean, they've really not had the 3-5 year they're having so far really doesn't reflect what they've done overall in the season. They've just run into some really good opponents like Muscle Shoals and Hueytown and Athens. And although they didn't play their best, you know, they really are a much better football team than what most people think.
You're exactly right. They've had a few, you know, rough games down the stretch, but, you know, now is their time to really prove it.
And Brody Adams will kick off. Short kick that'll be fielded at about the 26-yard line by Hembry. And Hembry will look for a couple blocks. He's still on his feet. He's at the 50, and he's finally brought down at about the 48-yard line, but there is a penalty marker back down at the Hartselle 49. Hembry, the shifty wide out there, but that's going to come back and bite Hartselle as it'll move them back.
And you do wonder why Cullman would, you know, they did the sky pooch kick, and you do wonder why they would kick it at him, knowing just how quick he is as he's been a receiver and, you know, running back.
So a hold there doesn't kill Hartselle too bad, as it only moves them back to the 39. Still good starting field position here to start out the third quarter. So Cal George, number 12, the quarterback, comes out in the shotgun set, and he'll give it to Barclay up the middle. And
Number 32, Britton Barclay on the carry.
About a 2 or 3 yard gain there. And Hartselle looks like they're going to try and go maybe with a little bit of up-tempo. Second down and 7 from the 42. George takes the snap, looks to throw, is going to fire far side, and it is caught by Hembry at the 46-yard line. He'll get all the way out to the 48. And it'll be third down and short for the Tigers.
Short passes have really killed the Bearcats on defense, and they've done a good job of not opening up the run game. But the short passes really are hurting them right now.
Third down and 1 for the Tigers. And George will try the hard count, won't get Cullman with it. And he'll take the snap. Quarterback keeper off the left-hand side. He's got the first down. and gets all the way to the Bearcat 46-yard line. And Brady, we've seen Hartselle run a lot of their plays out of that shotgun set with 2 receivers set out to the left and right, and it really kind of spaces out that Cullman secondary.
And it just, they can do so many different things with it. They can hand it off, they can throw it, they can do screen plays, they can go deep. It just, like you said, it just spaces out the secondary and it keeps them guessing.
Gal in the shotgun. He'll take the snap to give his to Barclay, and they'll go with a reverse to Hembry off the left-hand side, and Hembry's got a couple of blockers. He's at the 35, and he's brought down just shy of the 30-yard line. Hartselle with a little bit of razzle-dazzle there, and it works out.
A good job by Dustin Speaks, you know, really redirect there after he realized what was happening and to make a good tackle.
Cole Herforth comes in for number 44, Drew Ball. First down and 10 from the 31. George takes the snap, and it's a quarterback keeper off the left-hand side, and a good tackle out there. Made by, that was Noah Busman. And Cole Herforth was also in on that stop.
You know, Cole was actually on the far side, and he was actually the first one to grab him before Noah was able to come, you know, finish him off. And that just shows that, I mean, his legs are feeling fresh.
Second down and 9 from the 30. George in the shotgun, takes the snap. He's looking far side, fires over the middle, and it's caught at the 20-yard line. Good pitch and catch there, as that pass was complete out to number 29, Isaiah Fletcher.
Hartselle's looking pretty impressive this drive.
Yeah, they've come out looking a lot better on offense here to start this second half. Inside of 9 minutes to go here in the third quarter, George gives it to Barclay off the left-hand side, and a good open field tackle there by Speak.
Barclay on the carry. Tackle made by Dustin Speak.
Pick up a 4 there by the Hartselle running back. And Hartselle, they're very methodical. They take their time getting up to that line.
And you're exactly right. You know, we've said it a lot. They're really similar to Cullman, except that they spread it out a little bit more.
And up the middle with the quarterback keeper is George. And George, I believe he'll get the first down all the way down to the 10. Let's see if Cullman can keep them from getting in the end zone, if they can bend but not break. And it will be a first down. First down and goal to go from the 10. So George is in the shotgun set. He's got 2 receivers at the bottom of your screen, 1 to the top. He gets a check off from the sideline. And George takes the snap. He's looking to throw, fleshed out right. He's just going to take it himself. And a good tackle there made by number 42, Houston Smith.
Houston Smith makes the tackle.
The outside linebacker.
That was a good read. He very easily could have busted that one for a touchdown.
Second down and goal to go from the 6. Cullman down inside the goal line, kind of going with a 4-man front here. And they'll bring a little bit of pressure as George is flushed. And he is, ball's on the ground. Is it a fumble? Yes, it is. Cullman's got it. George trying to plead his case that it was a incomplete pass as he tried to get rid of it. And now they're waving it off, saying that it was incomplete. Oh, Brady, I don't know if I agree with that.
And Nick, he did try and throw it, but he didn't really throw it. It just kind of popped out of his hand.
Just kind of fluttered out of his hands. It looked like
he more of like a hit it when it was loose. And I think Hartselle really caught a break there.
Absolutely. That's one of those plays you really wish high school football had instant replay. I'm sure we'll see that sometime in the future.
You know, especially in those bigger games, maybe like playoffs or something. I think you could definitely see that in the future, because I think if they're able to go back and look at that, you may see that.
Yeah, you know,
I don't think he really was. He tried to throw it, but I don't think he did. And it didn't go past the original line of scrimmage.
yeah, you know, Brady, I think with the way things like Huddle have evolved and things like that, you know, just stuff on the iPads and handheld devices on the sideline, we could possibly see that, you know, for big games and stuff in the future. As Hartselle will try to tack on 3 here, and the kick is very high and short, but it is good.
Hartselle's kick is good.
As number
Ties our game.
94, Brian Munoz, makes the kick. He had one that was very well short earlier in the game, and that one, Brady, didn't look great there, but it somehow squeaked through.
No, it didn't, and we didn't know that coming into the game, but I think the field goal unit for Hartselle may really struggle. I mean, that was a short field goal, and he barely snuck it through the right upright. Almost, they caught 2 breaks that drive.
So with 6:04 left here in the third quarter, we are all knotted at 3 apiece. Back deep to receive the kickoff is number 23, Jaden Sullins, and number 9, the wide receiver, Jake Dooland. And it's a short lining kick that, luckily for Hartselle, goes out of the end zone. It almost squeaked to the left and was a kick out of bounds.
It bounced in the end zone and went out maybe a half a yard while it was into the end zone.
So Cullman will get the ball at the 20-yard line for their first offensive drive here in the second half. First down and 10, Bearcats. Dooland will take the snap and give it straight up the middle to Sullins. And Sullins, tough sledding there, gets maybe a yard or 2. Brady, Hartselle looks like they have a little bit more life in those legs now coming out of the break.
They looked a lot better on offense. And, you know, if a team really does well on defense, their offense is going to pick up. If a team really does well on offense, their defense is going to pick up.
Game of momentum.
It is, and Hartselle is showing that right now, and Cullman's got to put an end to it.
Second down and 9 as Dooland motions Sullins into the backfield, and he'll fake the pitch and fullback dive with Huey up the middle. And Huey actually drags a couple of Hartselle Tigers with him and makes a good play just to get about 2 yards there. So it'll be third down and about 6 to go.
Third down for Cullman. Fans, we have a child by the name of Olivia Lloyd, lost from her father, Daniel Lloyd. Meet her at the merchandise table at the bottom of the stairs near the concession stand.
Inside of 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter, Cullman really needs to pick up this first down, as Max will take the snap. He'll flip it out to Sullins, and incomplete. Sullins dropped it, but Brady, I think even if he caught it, he wouldn't have been able to pick up the first down.
There was white jerseys everywhere just waiting on him to catch that ball. If he catches it, he may pick up a yard or 2.
So Cullman goes a quick 3 and out for their first offensive series in the third quarter. So here comes Tanner Heatherly. He's had some very, very nice punts, other than the one that was blocked, but that wasn't his fault. It was a high, slow snap earlier in the game, and Hartselle did not score off of it. Hembry's back deep for the Tigers to receive this, and a pretty good punt here that will be fair caught by Hembry at about the 43-yard line.
And that was another good kick, Nick. I mean, obviously they're not in great field position to pin them, but that was still a good kick.
So Cullman's defense, let's see if they can turn the momentum back in favor of the Bearcats and get off the field quickly. And he'll take the snap. They give his off to Barclay, and Barclay spins off a man. Still going, but he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Barclay on the carry. A host of Bearcats on the stop.
And Brady, there, right there was something you talk about. You know, if you know you're not going to bring a big guy like Barclay down, just hold on, keep him there as long as you can, and wait for some help to arrive. And that's what a few of those Cullman defenders did on that play.
They just kept hands on him, and he couldn't ever, start running again. And luckily, the Bearcats came in there and made a good tackle.
2nd down and 10 on the 44-yard line. And he'll take the snap to give it to Barclay. Once again off the left-hand side, he's got a little bit of room, and he's brought down just on the other side of the 50 at the 49.
Barclay on the carry for Hartselle.
So Hartselle going to the running game a little bit here. I believe that's one of the first times we've seen back-to-back runs all night, Brady.
It is. They've done a great job of, running it, throwing it, and now you're seeing them, go to the run game a few times. And you're wondering if they see something in the Cullman defense while they're trying to run it now.
3rd down and 4. George getting a new play from the sideline. He'll take the snap, fake the give, flips out a screen pass, and it is caught, and they've got the 1st down. Good pitch and catch there.
Now George's pass is complete. 1st down, Hartselle.
1st down, Tigers. Isaiah Fletcher making another catch for Hartselle. 1st down and 10 from the 37, and George takes a snap to give it to Barclay off the left side, and Barclay still churning, still on his feet, and he'll pick up a 1st down. So Britton Barclay, Brady, finding his stride here late in the 3rd quarter.
He's really getting some momentum, and he's had a few good runs in a row. And Bearcats are really going to have to stop him. They got to get a stop and put some points on the board because this Tiger offense is really picking up speed.
1st and 10, Hartselle.
1st and 10 on the 27. George in the shotgun. He takes the snap. Another screen pass to Fletcher, and Fletcher is brought down quickly. He would have been better off dropping that pass, Brady, is by catching it. He lost 2 yards there.
And you can only run that play so many times before Dustin Speak's going to eat that up. He's a guy that we talked about a ton early in the year, and he's kind of quieted down just a little bit, but maybe because he's just playing so well and he just does everything so well, it's not really that outstanding anymore. But that was a great play.
Minute 30 left in the 3rd. 2nd down and 12 from the 29. George has got 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. And he'll fake the give to Barclay. He's looking to throw, looking. He's going to go deep, end zone. And, through the hands once again. Number 3, Number 3, Matthew Franks. That's the 2nd ball that we've seen a Hartselle receiver just flat out drop, Brady.
And it was pretty good coverage, but he had a matchup that he wanted with Jamar Kay on him, who's definitely, undersized in that matchup.
And Brady, that ball was thrown on the money too.
That was a perfect ball right over the hands of Jamar when he was jumping.
And ineligible receiver downfield was called on the Tigers, but Cullman will decline it to make it 3rd down and 12. So here you go, Hartselle, they're not in field goal range, so this could be 4th down territory if they pick up a couple of yards here on 3rd down. George takes the snap. He's looking to throw. He's going to pump it, and he'll just run with it. And he's got the 1st down, but there's a penalty marker all the way down at the 32-yard line, and I believe it's going to be holding. penalties have just been a bugaboo for the Hartselle Tigers all night, Brady.
They've really struggled, especially on those plays where they have guys open downfield. They're not giving George any time to really get the, tuck it and run or throw it because they're committing so many holding penalties.
But that was a smart play by George there. He really sold like he was going to throw it, and he just took off running. And he did pick up the first down, but the holding penalty brings it all the way back to the 42-yard line, and it'll make it 3rd down and 25. And Alex Shepard jumps offside there. Brady, you got to wonder what he's trying to do there. It's 3rd and 25. Don't give them anything free.
You're right. It's 3rd and 25. You're basically in a prevent anyways, because even if they get 10 yards, it's 4th and 15, and they're not going to go for that.
They'll get it snapped. George rolling right. He's looking. He's under pressure. He'll fire downfield, and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Matthew Franks, who dropped the pass earlier in the drive in the end zone. So it'll be 4th down and 20. The false start doesn't come back to haunt Cullman. Or excuse me, the encroachment penalty doesn't come back to bite Cullman. So here comes Nathaniel Wiley to punt it away. And Cullman has nobody back deep. And that kick will go out of bounds.
And now you're wondering kind of why did Hartselle not try and kick it deeper? Maybe risk it going into the end zone, but
kick got to the 18-yard line. So not a bad kick, but I bet the Hartselle coaches are going to tell Nathaniel, hey, if there's nobody back there, just kick it down the middle and let it roll.
And you don't have to kick it very far. He could have kicked that ball 15 yards with a good
Get
roll.
some roll.
And it's on the 5-yard line.
Not sure if Cullman was watching the fake there, or maybe they just didn't have the right personnel. But anyways, it doesn't affect them too much. So 53 seconds left. Max will hand it off to Sullins off the left-hand side, and Sullins will bounce it back up to the middle and get out to the 24-yard line.
And that was 22, the Navy commit, Jackson Boyer, with the tackle on his future teammate, Jaden Sullins. It's pretty cool to see two guys, committed to the same school. They're rivals now, but, just next year, they'll be teammates.
Oh, yeah. Jackson Boyer, one of the few veterans from that team last year that had such a great year for the Tigers that returned, as this run here goes for no gain.
And he's really similar to Dustin Speak. He's kind of the leader of that, secondary defense, and he's in on just about every play. And he runs all over the place to make tackles, and he's a good football player.
And he's got the body type, of a Division I college athlete, big stocky guy. And here we go. We've played 3 quarters, and we still don't have a clear-cut favorite in this one. 3-3 is our score. And Brady, I feel like this is going to come down to whoever wants it the most.
That's exactly right. Cullman's really trying to get back on top in this rivalry. And, that's something they're really fighting. And they're trying to defend the home turf. And, like you said, whoever wants it more is going to win. This is when it gets gritty. And this is when Cullman's going to have to play hard-nosed if they really want to pull this game out.
Cullman, can they undo the demons that have surrounded them when they played Hartselle? 2 years ago, Cullman led with just a little over 3 minutes in the game right here at Oliver Woodard. And Keandre Swoops, number 4 at the time, who's now playing college football somewhere in the state of Alabama, he ran a kickoff all the way back to win it for the Tigers. And like we said, Cullman's last win comes back in 2013. 2013, Brady.
That's before we were even close to thinking about commentating a football game. And it's just wild to think about how well known this rivalry is just across the state, and to think that one team's almost won 6 times in a row.
Like we said, this would tie the longest streak if Hartselle was able to win against the Bearcats, the longest streak in the rivalry. As Doolin takes this snap and up the middle is Sullins, but Sullins is blown up after a short gain, and here comes the punt team.
Jaden Sullins with a carry for Cullman. 4th down.
And Brady, is it just me, or does Cullman just look a little flat on offense?
They do look a little flat. I mean, they had a lot of energy for the first 3 drives of the game, and I haven't seen it in the past few drives. But they better, you know, find a spark in somebody or in a huddle somewhere, and they got to get it going.
And a good snap, and Heatherly not his best, as that punt kind of came off the side of his foot. And we'll see where the officials mark it. All the way at the 43-yard line. So not a great punt there, and Hartselle is in prime field position.
And Nick, that's one thing that Cullman's been doing a great job of, is making Hartselle have to go a long ways, and now Hartselle's really got some good field position.
And Cal fire over the middle, and it is caught by Franks, who had 2 drops last drive that one of them could have put Hartselle on top by 7. But he had it slip through his fingers. But he makes the catch there, so it'll be 1st down and 10 as George looking to throw once again. Fires, and just out of bounds. And if it was inbounds, Dustin Speak was all over it.
I think that was a miscommunication. Looked like George was throwing it towards the front pylon, and the receiver was not going anywhere close there. He was expecting to be a lot shorter.
So 3rd down and 1. Excuse me, that last play was 2nd down, so this is 3rd down. And they will take a quarterback keeper off the right-hand side with George, and George is brought down by Alex Shepard. But he picks up more than enough yardage for the 1st down. And Brady, for Cullman, they're okay here, because from what we've seen from the Hartselle special teams, they do not have a lot of range when it comes to kicking a field goal.
And I think if Cullman can keep them around right here, around the 20 or 25-yard line, they've got a great chance of Hartselle's either going to have to go for it, or I guess they'd have to go for it, and then Cullman's got a great chance of getting the ball, 20, 25-yard line.
So 1st down and 10 from the 28. George takes the snap. He's looking, and evades the tackle. He's just going to tuck it and run. He's at the 20, and he will stiff arm a man and head out of bounds close to the 15-yard line. What a play there by Cal George, the junior quarterback.
Yeah, he did a great job of Alex Shepard blew that play up and may have left his feet when he didn't need to there. But either way, he avoided a sack that would have just been, just killed this drive. And he was able to keep the play alive and pick up the 1st down.
First down and 10 from the 17. They'll give it to Barclay up the middle, and Barclay all the way down to the 12-yard line. I think it's imperative here, Brady, that Cullman keeps Hartselle out of the end zone.
I think so. You force 3, maybe they do kick a field goal, but you want to keep it, where if you score a touchdown, you're probably going to go up.
9:07 left here in the game. George in the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. He's going to look, fire over the middle, and miscommunication as that pass was intended for Hembry, but Hembry was not turned around. I guess George thought he was going to run a slant, but Hembry was looking like he was running a deeper pattern.
And, he's lucky that ball didn't get intercepted or bounce off the back of him. And, somebody else pick it off who wasn't even Hartselle's caught a lot of breaks lately.
We're seeing a lot of miscommunication between the quarterback and his receivers here.
And you know that for Cullman, you got to be happy there.
3rd down and 5, ball on the 12. George takes the snap. He's looking near side and caught at the 2 and out of bounds. What a catch there. That was number 29, Isaiah Fletcher. So it's 1st and goal, Tigers. And Brady, the Hartselle receiving core, they've dropped a few balls tonight, but that was a pretty catch there.
And it was just basically go to the goal line, stop and turn around, and George made a great throw to Fletcher, and he was able to hold on to it.
So they'll go out of the eye, and they'll take it, give it off the left-hand side, and he is into the end zone for our first touchdown of the night. So the Tigers go ahead as Barclay goes off left tackle and scores. And they will kick the extra point. Good snap, good hold, and a much better looking kick this time. And it is good. So with 8:29 left, Cullman finds themselves in a 7-point hole as Hartselle leads 10-3. And Brady, it's put up or shut up time for the Bearcats. This is it.
I think they got it. They got it. You know, maybe they don't score on this drive. They're going to get one more chance regardless. But they have got to at least, you know, put an aggressive drive together and move the ball somewhere. A 3 and out here, and they're going to lose the momentum that they need.
But if you're Cullman, you've got plenty of time. You don't have to rush. You got almost 8 minutes and 30 seconds. You can run your offense. You don't have to be pressured into what Hartselle wants you to do. They just need to put a good, solid drive together like they did early in the first half.
They have plenty of time.
As this kick will go through the end zone for the touchback.
Plenty of time. They don't have to do anything different than what they've been trying to do, but they do have to capitalize.
But they've got to change something, Brady. Is whatever they've been doing has not worked here in the second half.
And for sure, if you're Cullman, you in your heads, you've got to be thinking, we got to tie this game right here.
And I really think, Brady, if it's 4th down and anything less than 5, Cullman's got to go for it. You cannot wait and hope that your defense gets another stop. You've got to make something happen right now.
And, you know, if it's less than that, there's always the chance that Huey and Solons are going to break one loose. And they're just so lethal, but they've got to get some space.
Pitch off the right side to Solons, and Solons gets a yard. And Doolin will give it up the middle to Huey, and Huey moving that pile forward, and he's got himself a 1st down.
And, you know, we haven't seen him a lot lately, and I think now's the time they're really going to have to use him.
I think now's the time you've got to use him, whether he's hurt or not. .7:35 left, 1st down and 10 Bearcats. Doolin takes the snap, gives it to Solons, and Solons with nowhere to go as there are a lot of white jerseys around him. And he loses about 2 yards. Second down and 12 from the 29. Doolin takes the snap. They give it to Huey up the middle, and Huey gets a couple.
I think he may have got to the original line of scrimmage plus 1 or 2.
But Brady, these short runs, they're just not good enough. They're not going to get the job done for Cullman.
And, you know, Nick, they are probably good enough on first down when you have 3 more or 4 more even to go. But when it's 2nd and 12, you know, 4 yards is not going to get you anywhere close.
3rd down and 7, ball on the 34. Dooland motions Jake. He'll take the snap and option off the left-hand side, and he'll pitch it to Jake, and Jake's at the 45. He's at the 50, and he's brought down on the Hartselle side of the 50 at the 40-yard line. There we go, Brady. There's the big play Cullman needed.
And we've been waiting on it. We've been saying Huey and Sullins for so long, but the younger Dooland gets it done right there. Dooland to Dooland, you know, a perfect option play. Max waited for the perfect second to flip that
The
ball.
last second he had to pitch that ball, and he did, and it paid off.
And that's Max not being scared to get hit because he knows he's still going to get hit as soon as he pitches that ball.
Shotgun set for Dooland. He'll take it, give it to Sullins off the left-hand side. Sullins is at the 30, to the 25, to the 20. It's going to be a foot race, and they won't catch him. Touchdown, Bearcats! As Sullins takes it off the left-hand side for 6.
And that was a beautiful run, Nick. That's exactly what the Bearcats needed. It's just some energy. We haven't seen anybody jumping around since the first quarter. And I think that's what you've got to do, is you've got to, you know, prove to these people out here in the stands watching you, get them into the game, get the rest of the players on the sidelines into the game, and that's what they did right there. And that's a big, you know, a big drive. They really proved something right there.
Good snap. And the kick is no good. Brody Adams misses it to the left, and I think he's trying to plead his case that it was good,
And
but
I thought it was left
to
too.
no avail. So Cullman does answer the Hartselle touchdown, but they still trail by 1 with just 3 ticks under 6 minutes in the game.
And now, Nick, instead of looking at a tie game, I mean, you're looking at Cullman's got to get a stop and score again.
Brody Adams, he was very upset. He threw down his tee. I mean, I think he was trying to plead the case, because those of you that don't know, if a kick is right over the uprights, it is considered good, as the uprights extend through the heavens.
And Nick, you know,
It's hard to tell from up here,
From our angle, it
but
was
it did
tough.
look a little left.
It was left. It definitely didn't split the uprights, but you know, he's got a better look at it, and that's something we haven't seen him do this year. Is, you know, argue a call.
Yeah, get frustrated. But Cullman just trails by 1 now. And Adams will squib it, and he'll be taken on a line at the 21-yard line. Hartselle's going to look for a few blocks and a good return to get all the way out to the 45. And Coach Kyle Morris, the special teams coordinator, is very upset.
And you know, that ball just carried right there. That ball is supposed to bounce, and he's telling him right now that that ball's supposed to bounce and make those guys really struggle picking it up. And you know, right there, he gave him a chance to return it when the whole point of a squib is to really take away, you know, the chance of a return.
So here we go. The Tigers have got it with 5:50 left. They'll take the snap. They give it to Barclay up the middle, and he'll get a couple.
Barclay on the carry, 2nd down.
I'll tell you what, Brady, that is not what Cullman wanted to do, because now you've got to press. It's no longer a tie game.
That's right. I mean, you know, if it's tied, the worst comes to worst, you go to overtime. But now they're going to have to get the ball and at least kick a field goal again. And then, you know, if they score and kick a field goal, then Hartselle, all they have to do is score and kick a field goal and they'll be up.
George in the shotgun on 2nd and 8. He's going to look to throw. He's looking near side, and it is incomplete. Pass broken up by Sam Brand.
Cal George's pass is incomplete. 3rd down.
Number 29, Isaiah Fletcher, who had the big catch all the way down at the goal line on their last drive, had that ball slip through his hands.
And I think George has found a matchup that he's really liking right now at the bottom of your screen. Sam Brand was not a starter at the beginning of the year. He's had his fair share of playing time in the last few weeks. But I mean, definitely undersized compared to Fletcher.
So 3rd down and 8 to go for the Tigers. Can Cullman get off the field here on 3rd down? George takes the snap. He's looking left. He's going to look back right and toss the screen out to Hembry, but he is brought down in the backfield by Alex Shepard. What a play there by the junior linebacker.
And I think if you're Hartselle, you're going to have to punt this ball.
Oh, absolutely. As he's brought down all the way back down at the 41. So life for Cullman. They're going to get the ball back with 4:46 left in the game.
You know, maybe, hopefully, I don't think Hartselle probably won't give Solons a real chance of returning this ball. They're probably going to kick it to him. They're going to kick it really, really high or just nowhere close to him.
And they'll get it away. It's a low kick that takes a Cullman, well, first a Cullman bounce, then a Hartselle bounce. And it'll be picked up exactly on the 25. So that's where Cullman will take over. And Brady, can the Bearcats build up another big drive and go down and at least get a field goal to pull ahead?
The way they looked last drive, I don't see any way that Hartselle's, I mean, yes, they did have the option play where they got a big run, but then Solon's busting that one loose. He was explosive through those holes, and they looked like they had a little bit of fire last drive.
Doolin takes the snap. The give is to Sullins, and Sullins gets a yard or so.
Short carry for Cullman. 2nd down.
And Nick, for the first time this year, I think I'm getting a little chilly up here.
It is. It is really starting to feel like fall. As most of you probably know, we've had a very hot last couple months, but it is finally starting to cool off. So it'll be 2nd down and 8, ball on the 27. Doolin, quarterback keeper off the right-hand side, but he's brought down at the 30.
Definitely 4-down territory, Nick. They're going to have to go for it if they don't get this.
3rd down and 5.
But with that in mind, you know, you don't have to get a first down on this play if that's your mindset.
Yep. We're inside of 3:30 in the game. Cullman's got 70 more yards to go to hit pay dirt. Doolin looking to throw, fires the screen pass to Sullins, and Sullins has got it. He gets to the sideline, and he's, I believe, short of the first down. Clock, he stayed in bounds, so clock will keep running. And a timeout is taken by the officials. I think they're going to measure. Or actually, no, there's an injured Hartselle player down on the far side. That's number 4, Devon Turney, the defensive back. So, Brady, I think Cullman's going to be 4th down, and it's going to be about a yard short.
And, you know, they've had a lot of success on, you know, QB sneaks, and Huey has been running the ball pretty well. Solons is running the ball well. Doolin has found the hole, and Max and Jake, that is. So, I mean, there's a lot of options here. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Max just sneak it and give Huey and Solons from behind.
You got to keep this drive alive. Cullman still has all 3 of their timeouts, so they've got plenty of time. I think their most ideal scenario would be pick up this first down and then just get down the field slowly but steadily, milk all the clock off, and either go in for 6 or kick the field goal.
I think you got to, I mean, if you can kick the field goal or score with, you know, less than a minute and a half or a minute, I think they're in really good shape.
But first, you got to cross midfield, and before you can cross midfield, you got to pick up this first down.
Exactly right. You know, if you don't pick up this first down, it's going to be first down for Hartselle at the 35-yard line, and they've been pretty good on offense lately.
So here we go. This could be the game, folks. 4th down and 1 from the 34 for the Bearcats. Max Doolin is under center. He will take the snap and sneak it off the left-hand side, and I believe he got it. By the spot he got from the officials, it will be good enough to move the chain, so Cullman stays alive. Hartselle can't believe it. They thought they stopped him, but that's not the case. And a flag is on the Tigers.
And Nick, I didn't see it.
Is it going to be, I think it's a late hit or a personal foul, because it moves Cullman all the way up to the 50.
And Nick, you never know. It could have been on the coaches for a, they could have been arguing and got a personal foul for arguing.
I don't have the exact number of penalties along with yards from them, but I would love to see that. As Hartselle, I would say they're close to 100 yards in penalties.
They've had 4 personal fouls. I mean, that alone, 60 yards. Just some holdings too. They've had 2 or 3 holding calls, and there you go. There's 90 to 100 yards right there.
Good first down run there by Sullins, getting out to the 45-yard line. Inside of 2:20 to go. Cullman got to pick up the pace a little bit. You got 3 timeouts, so you've got ways to stop the clock. They'll hurry up to the line. In the shotgun is Doolin. He takes the snap. He rolls right. He's looking, fires, and incomplete. Pass was intended for, I believe, Braden Scroggins, but it was well overthrown.
Max Doolin's pass is incomplete. 3rd down, Cullman.
And Brady, you've talked about it. That's a disadvantage of not having number 1 Isaiah Jones in. Is Jones has got some height. He's a basketball player. He can jump. Who knows? He could go up and get that ball,
or at least give you a legitimate chance at that ball. Braden, that ball's too overthrown for him.
3rd down and 5 from the 45. Clock stops at 1:50 after the incompletion. Doolin takes the snap. The give is to Sullins off the right-hand side. Sullins will try to bounce it to the outside. He's got the first down and more. He's at the 30 to the 25, and that's where he'll scamper out of bounds. And Brady, Cullman, these last 2 offensive drives, when you think they're dead, when you think they don't have a shot, they come up with a big play.
And that just shows you that, they're really fighting through. I mean, maybe they don't have their best stuff tonight, but they're really fighting through it, and they're pushing through the obstacles. Hartselle's playing a great game, but Sullins and Huey and Max Doolin and Jake Doolin continue to get it done.
Doolin under center. He'll motion out Sullins. The give is up the middle to Huey, and Huey fights for yards and gets to the 21-yard line. You're really getting close to field goal range. I mean, I believe you could attempt one with Adams, but I think the target line Cullman wants to at least get to is the 10-yard line.
And I think for them, you just keep going until you have to kick the field goal.
I think really to take away all doubt, because Brody Adams, he's had a rough night. He's missed one, and the makes have been close. I think you want to put it in for 6.
I think that's exactly right. But if they need to, I think they will kick it.
They'll give it to Huey, and Huey will keep moving forward. He'll get to, I think, the 16. Yep. Be 3rd down and 1. And Cullman will burn a timeout as we're just inside a minute in the game. Or actually, no, Hartselle burns a timeout.
And I think they had to, because I think Cullman is honestly just going to let it run, and I think they would give it to Huey again right there, and I think he picks up the 1st down.
I think Hartselle may be trying to save some time for them left on the clock if Cullman is able to kick a field goal or score.
I think you're exactly right. They know that Cullman's on a roll, and they're having to take a bet. And you see Brody Adams going. He's grabbing his tee right now, and he's going to go stand by Coach Morris until he gets the word.
If you're just tuning in, Nick Brazel alongside Brady Patterson. Brody Adams missed the extra point after Jaden Sullins went in for the touchdown. That's why it's a 10-9 game, but he has a chance if Cullman calls upon him to exercise all of that.
That's exactly right, and it'd be great for Brody to get another chance, to redeem himself after what happened. He was visibly upset, and that's something that we have not seen him do a lot.
3rd down and 1. Max Doolin under center. He takes it, gives it to Sullins off the left-hand side. Sullins has the 1st down and more, and he's down to the 10-yard line. with 50 seconds left. So they're to the target line that I thought they would want to get to attempt one with Adams. Now, Brady, what do you do here? Do you maybe just run a few plays, get it centered for Adams and kick it, or do you just keep plunging away?
I think you have 2 or 3 plays, probably 2 plays. I think you try and get in.
So they kind of centered it there as they lose a yard, but ball be now at about the 11, and Cullman will take a timeout.
And I think this is smart. Those coaches down there, they've got to talk it over, and they've got to make sure they do the right thing here because they are rolling on offense a little bit. They're centered up, and Brody Adams has been pretty automatic from right here for the last few games. But you got to wonder what's in his head right now after he was supposed to squib it and he didn't squib it. He missed the extra point. You just wonder what's going through his head.
So, but Brady, a great drive for the Cats. They were all the way back at their own 25, and they've come all the way down to the 12-yard line, and they're knocking on the door. So here we go. It'll be 2nd down and 11 with 36 seconds left in the game. Can Cullman get in the end zone and end the winless drought against their rival Hartselle Tigers?
And they might run 2 more plays. I think if this one doesn't work out, they may try
and Sullins up the middle, down to the 4, to the 3-yard line. And the clock's still running. They're inside of 30 seconds, but I don't think they've got to panic. They've got 2 timeouts. They're letting it run. They'll hurry up to the line. Dooland is under center, inside of 20 seconds. He'll take the snap. Sullins up the middle, and he's marked down at the 1. And the clock will stop with 10 seconds left.
And Nick, I don't even think he's at the 1. He might be at the 2 or 3 yard line, and Huey is.
And Cullman burns their second timeout.
Nick, Jalen Huey is really hurting. He was pounding the ground with his fist, and he is limping off.
I don't even think Cullman, they're not even on the half-yard line. They're on probably the quarter.
I mean, they are very, very close. I think they're maybe 2 or 3 inches.
I think a QB sneak here, and that could do it. Look at the coach saying he is trying to fire up his offense. He's saying, get me in the end zone.
And he's mainly talking to that offensive line because what I see right there is if he's talking to the offensive line like that, they're about to run a QB sneak. And he's telling his offensive line, if you get a good push right here, we're going to win this football game.
And it's 1st down and goal. That last play did indeed pick up a 1st down.
And, Nick, this football team this year is not the best football team since 2013, but they could be the first ones to take down the Hartselle Tigers.
If you're Cullman, you got 1 play left. You got 1 timeout if you don't get in. So here we go. 1st down and goal to go. To end a 6-year winless drought against the Tigers. Max Doolin's under center. Huey and Sullins are in the backfield. The play clock is started. Doolin will take the snap. He goes over the middle. And touchdown, Bearcats! Touchdown! And Cullman, with 6.5 left, goes ahead. What a time to be alive!
That was a beautiful play, Nick. And I think we may have it. We may have it. The drought could be over. 6 seconds left. All Cullman's got to do. All Cullman's got to do is knock down the PAT, kick it off, and defend a few plays.
There is a penalty marker. I'm going to believe it was for excessive celebration.
And Nick,
they're going to go for 2. Yep. Cullman's going to go for 2, which would be smart if Hartselle was able to somehow pull off a miracle and score. If Cullman's able to convert on the 2-point conversion, it'd make it a 17-10 game.
And Nick, even if they don't get it.
And they're going to run Scroggins on late. And Cullman will burn their last timeout as they didn't have their personnel right. So Cullman will take their third and final timeout. Brady, we've criticized, I mean, I know that's a strong word, but we've criticized this Cullman offense all year long. But on that drive, they got it done when the go-in got the toughest.
And that's right. Sullins just hasn't had his brother Huey tonight. You can see him. He's limping on and off the field. He's just sitting there to show his guys that he's fighting. But Sullins, he has had an outstanding game. He's had good third down runs and fourth down runs all game. And that's what's kept the Bearcats alive. And, you know, what other guy do you want carrying your team like that besides Jaden Sullins?
You know, Brady, I can't think of one. As Sullins put the team on his back tonight, it's been tough sledding for him, but he really led them on that last drive. So here we go, the two-point play. Doolin takes the snap. He's rolling right. He's going to reverse back fields. He's going to try to get to the corner, but he won't get there. He'll be brought down. So the two-point attempt fails. But the most important thing is Cullman still has the lead, 15-10 with 6.5 seconds remaining. And Cullman is scrambling on special teams. His coaches are running around, making sure all those guys know exactly what to do.
And Nick, I think you're going to see a squib kick, but Brody Adams has got to get it on the ground where it's bouncing, and they have to wait on a good bounce.
You can't let those returners for Hartselle get any forward momentum and get up on top speed.
And Nick, if I'm Cullman, you got to keep it out of the hands of Grant Hembry. He is just too quick, and he is too dangerous.
But here's a play. We saw that flag after Cullman scored the touchdown. Excessive celebration that's assessed on the kickoff. So that gives Hartselle kind of a 15-yard, an extra 15 yards they wouldn't normally get.
And that's why it's so important that Brody Adams has got to execute this kick.
So Hartselle with 6.5 left. If they field it, it's going to be interesting to see, do they try and score on this play, or do they get the ball, go down immediately, and try and run one more play with their offense?
Kind of
hard to tell.
I think they're going to see what the kick does. I think if they kicks it,
if it's a good one, I think you just fall on it and live to let your offense run a play.
You never know if he was to shank it. Something that you do not want to say even.
So Brody Adams will come on to make one of the biggest kicks of the year. And it's not even for any points.
And there's a gap of Hartselle defenders right around midfield. He's got to get it through there.
And it's
Perfect.
a good one.
Perfect.
It's going to bounce. It'll be picked up at about the 37-yard line. Clock's running. And there's a flag down. Hartselle's still going. They're going to have to score on this play, and they won't. But there is a penalty marker down back at the 50. We'll see what the call is. If it's on Hartselle, the game's over.
And it could be a hold or a block in the back. Unless it's on Cullman, and
what is the
you
call?
really never know.
Hartselle's lining up like they think it's on them. Face mask on Cullman, so Hartselle gets another shot. Unbelievable. Cullman gives Hartselle some life.
And Cullman's got to get some size on the end zone.
Time is gone, Brady. Hartselle gets one shot, one untimed down to score. If they do, they'll win it. If they don't, Cullman breaks the streak and gets their first win against the Tigers in 6 years. And Hartselle will take a timeout to talk things over. The ball's going to be spotted at the 45. Brady, what do you think they do here? You think they run a screen play and try and lateral it, or you think they go for the Hail Mary?
I think they're going to have to go for the Hail Mary. Noah Busman, Jaden Kay, Jaden Sullins, Jake Doolin, and Dustin Speak. Those are the guys that are going to be basically on the goal line. They're saying nothing's getting in front of us, and it's really smart to get those guys right there. They have size.
You got to put your best athletes on the field.
You got to get athletes out there on the goal line, because knowing that they're not going to get them out there. You see, Huey is in on the defensive line.
So back deep is number 7, Noah Busman. Number 8, Jaden Kay. Number 23, Jaden Sullins. number 9, Jake Doolin, and number 22, Dustin Speak.
And at your linebackers, you got Alex Shepard, Griffin Barksdale, Drew Ball, and on your line, you have Miranda.
Only going to rush 3.
Miranda, Cody Lynn, and Jalen Huey. Those guys aren't going to be as big of a factor.
So here we go, Hartselle, one play in the shotgun. He'll take the snap. He's going to drop back. He's looking to throw, buying time. Fires to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Cullman wins it. The Bearcats win 15-10. Unbelievable.
Finally, Nick, after 5 long years, Cullman's able to just fight through. This is a game that Cullman deserves right here. They outplayed the Tigers. They fought hard all year long, and this is their reward.
Cullman puts the demons to bed and beats Hartselle here at home. What a game. What an absolute unbelievable game. Brady, this is probably the most fired up I've seen Cullman all year. And I bet it's got to be the most proud Coach Oscar Glasscock has been of his squad all year. It's been a tough year. They're 3-5 now, 4-5. You know, they've got one more game against Fort Payne next week before they head into their bye week, and then the first round of the playoffs. But Cullman wins, in my opinion, the biggest game of the year.
It was the biggest game of the year, not only because this is a rivalry game, but because this is for the 3 and 4 seed of the playoffs. Cullman lost the first 2 games of the year to 2 5A schools by a combined 5 points.
And they're fired up as Cullman will celebrate their second to last home game of the year at Oliver Woodard with a victory. Like we said, next week will be Cullman's last regular season game against Fort Payne. It'll be senior night. And that game really just a tune-up before the playoffs. Then they'll have their bye week, which is kind of a blessing for them. They'll get to rest up, prepare for whoever they might play in the first round, and then they'll have the first round of the playoffs.
And Nick, they're going to be able to get some guys back. And now that Fort Payne's, it's an outer-region game, which is good because, maybe you give some of those guys that are halfway beat up, halfway ready to play, you give them a chance to, they get an off week. They might not play against Fort Payne, and they're probably going to get 2 weeks off. And that's something that could be great for the Bearcats because think about how well they played in the first 2 or 3 games of the year until everybody started getting beat up.
And they'll do their alma mater here at home. And Cullman, most importantly, they snap a 3-game losing streak.
And that is, you want to talk about the rivalry, that's great. You can talk about that, all the time after. But then one thing you got to talk about is this game. And I haven't seen these players this happy in a long time, Nick.
They're so fired up. And that'll just about do it from me and Broads up in the booth. Once again, our final from Oliver Woodard. Your Cullman Bearcats 15, the Tigers of Hartselle 10. Make sure you tune in next week for senior night against Fort Payne, as that's Cullman's last regular season game, like I said. And that'll do it for us. Have a great night, everyone. We enjoyed bringing this game to you on NHS, and we thank you all for tuning in. Drive home safely, and go Bearcats.